everyone, welcome back. So for today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my selfie secrets. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I take my selfies real seriously. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you what apps I use, what camera I use, and what kind of lighting I like to use for my selfies. So I hope you guys like the video. Okay, so as far as a camera, all I use is my iPhone 5S. That's it. The iPhone 5S. The back camera though, not the front camera, because the front camera isn't as clear as the back camera. The front camera tends to make my pictures a little bit more pixelated, and the back camera works pretty good. So this is what I use. This is one of my selfie secrets, the iPhone 5S. So what I do is I just take my camera like this. I find my angle, because your angle is really important when it comes to taking a selfie. You can have a real good angle like or you can have a real bad angle like So just find whatever angle works for you, whatever angle you feel flatters you the most, flatters your face shape the most. So as far as lighting goes, I like to use my ring light along with natural lighting. So when I take my selfies, I like to take it right in front of my vanity. So this is my vanity over here. You guys aren't gonna be able to see it, but I have my vanity right here. And what I'll do is I'll set up my ring light right in front of my vanity, and I'll just keep my back to my vanity, and I'll set up the ring light right here, right in front of it, and then I have natural lighting coming from my window from the side, so we get a little bit of dual lighted action going on. So that's what I do as far as lighting. Now when it comes to the apps that I like to use, I use quite a few different apps. You guys see that? Is it blinding you? Okay, let's try to get a little closer. A little closer. Okay, so the first app I like to use is, which app do I like to use? Is Facetune. And throw a picture in there so you guys can get a feel. So I don't have any unedited selfies in my phone right now, but what I'll do is I'll just take this one right here and show you guys what I use in each app. So in Facetune, I like to use the smoothing one, and what I'll do is I'll use the smaller of the two. This one's like this one's a less intense smooth, and this one is a more intense smooth. So I'll just take that and I'll smooth out whatever areas that I feel need a little bit of smoothing. I don't get too crazy with it. If you over smooth, it'll look a little bit too artificial. So what I like to do is just smooth over any fine lines that I may have, or any, you know, blemishes or anything like that. Just smooth those over and make it look a tad bit flawless, but not too unrealistic. Next in this app, I like to use the details tab. So what that tab does is just really intensify any details that you want to stand out a lot more. So for instance, if I want to intensify like my inner corner highlight, or any of the highlights on my face, or if I want to intensify my eyes or lashes a little bit more. So what I do is I'll just tap on that, and then I'll just go over the areas that I want to intensify a little bit more, because sometimes when you take photos with your phone, it doesn't give you the intensity that you really have going on. Like, it kind of dulls out the photo. So this tool is really going to just bump up the intensity and allow it to show for what it truly is in person. The next app I like to use is called Camera Plus, and it looks like this. And with this app, I just like to use this app to intensify the vibrancy of my photos. Because like I said before, sometimes the iPhone camera can really dull out the photo, and it doesn't show the true vibrancy of what things really look like. So I'll go in here and I'll hit the filters button, and I'll touch on vibrant, and then I'll also touch on magic hour. So vibrant is really going to intensify the vibrancy of the photo. As you can see, it's real intense and real not intense. I just like to bump it up just a smidge. I just like to bump it up just a little bit, so that way we get a little bit of vibrancy, but we don't get too crazy with it. And magic hour tends to add a little bit more yellow to it. So let's say your picture is a little bit too dull and you want to add some you want to add like a little bit of glow, a little bit more yellow to it, I guess you would say. I can just go ahead and bump that up a little bit, and there you go. You can see right there that it's a little bit more vibrant and a little bit more glowy, I guess you would say. So yeah, love those two filters. Pretty much it. Those are the only two apps that I use. And then, so now when I go ahead and upload to Instagram, I also like to use the Instagram editors as well. So let's take the picture to Instagram, so then we'll hit next, right? So there's a couple filters that I really like to use here on Instagram. I like to use the, what is it? the 8-in filter, because I feel like it adds a little bit more of a purpley blue tone to my photos. If I want to balance out the vibrancy and the yellow tones, adding a purpley blue color just really helps to balance that out a little bit more and make it look a lot more natural. I also like to use Valencia. That's another one of my favorite filters because it just really brightens up the skin and really just makes my skin look a little bit more flawless. So I love that. And then I'll just go ahead and use the regular tabs here. Sometimes I'll use brightness if it needs to be a little brighter. I'll use contrast to bump up the contrast a little bit. If it needs a little bit more saturation, I'll go ahead and use that. I like to use the fade because it makes it look a little bit less harsh and in your face. It kind of like fades the picture out a little bit more, so it looks a little bit softer, a little bit less intense. And then I'll go ahead and use highlight to highlight just the key areas. That's what that does. It just highlights key areas. It doesn't add overall brightness to the entire picture, but it adds brightness to key areas that it chooses on its own. And then there's also shadow, which sometimes I'll use if I want to add a little bit more shadow to it. And then I'll use sharpen if I feel like it looks a little bit too blurred. So those are the keys on the Instagram app that I like to use to edit my selfies. Alright, so I think that's it. I think I've shared with you guys all of my selfie secrets. I hope you guys liked the video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'll leave the apps that I use down below in the description bar along with my social networks if you guys want to follow me on any of them. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, I'll leave that down below for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye. Oh, the front-facing camera was on.